Hi, my name is Paulette, and I welcome you to my channel. And thanks for stopping by. I wanted to create this because I really feel that there are so many people out in this world that limit themselves, and that's what I don't want to do. Because when you limit yourself, you don't get anywhere. And I know I want to make a change in my life. I'm at a point in my life where something needs to change. And if I limit myself, then I get nowhere. So, have you ever thought about where you would like to be in life and why aren't you there? Um, and I believe that the reason why we aren't there is because we ourselves limit our own self from doing whatever it is, from listening to people saying, no, don't do that, or, oh, that's going to cost a lot of money, or you can't make any money on it. How do they know? Because frankly, have they done whatever you wanted, and maybe they're not even good at it, so that's why they want to limit you, because they frankly can't do it. So I'm reading from my notes. I'm keeping this video the way it is because I want to show you, hey, I'm not limiting myself. I'm not of an age that I was raised in the tech environment. Um, and this is all new to me. My children kind of show me the loops, but they don't even know I'm doing this. So, surprise! So, no matter what you want to do, you, yeah, I'm totally not focused right now. So, I have some notes, but no matter what it is that is calling you, a whisper saying, go, go if you want to move. And, and you need to listen to your heart. I know people talk about the gut. I think the gut is more of a stop, um, like be wary type of feeling. Your heart is more of a love connection, and I really feel that that's the the way of the world. Because when you act in love, you don't create limitations. You give freely. There is no condition to it. Um, you just really need to listen to yourself. Sorry. So the thing that stops us, okay, so we limit ourselves. Okay, so therefore it stops us. And what's most likely stops us is our belief that we have behind whatever it is. Like, believing when someone said, oh, you're not going to make money. I know I raised my children to do what they feel called to do. And I the world is set up to experience and learn and move on and take what you've learned from what you have done. And if that's something that you wanted to do and it didn't work out, obviously you did learn something from it. So take what you learned from it and then expand on that. So our beliefs is something that we gave meaning to. So, you know, I've often thought who created words and the meaning behind them. It's like, where did that originate? Who says happy actually means, the what you're feeling, you know, the inner meaning behind it, I guess. It's kind of hard to explain. But we believe that that's what it means because that's what we've been told. And so we need to change our beliefs when it comes to something um, that's not tangible in our life. That's not, I guess, cohesive is what I want to say. Um, if it doesn't make us feel good, then we shouldn't be doing it. And that's a whole other avenue to go under. But we do condition our outcomes based on our beliefs. So if we feel that we're not going to succeed, then you most likely are not going to succeed because that's your belief in it. So I know there's a saying, um, and I my one sister, it's political, but um, she would say, repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it because she believed this politician was lying. And that's anything in life. And if you believe that that person's lying, then that's what you're going to believe. If you believe that they're telling the truth, then that's what you're going to believe. And when you get into battling, you know, I have this belief and I have that belief, and the Republicans and the Democrats, and all that creates division. And that's not what we should be doing. Um, we should be together and harmonizing together, and it goes back to love, um, because when you have love, you're not thinking um, one way or the other. It just is. So I say, I have this written down. So our beliefs are based on how we grew up. So I will say my parents, they're gone now, but my father was born in 1924. My mom was born in 1930, and they went through the Great Depression. So I was raised, I wouldn't say poor, um, but it's not like we had a lot. We did a lot, um, but it wasn't a technology time either. I remember, when cable first came, and TV and things like that. And it's not like the environment that most people have now and what they're being raised in. And I know a lot of people in this community that speak of what I'm speaking of, um, are way younger, and I I wish I was around people um, that felt like me, or thought like me when I was younger. But I always felt alone, because I didn't really have anyone to speak to. And it's not like I thought like I do think now. I've gone through a lot in my life, and I really think that all our trials and tribulations that we go through are meant to expand us. It's not meant to bring us down, um, which, if it's not a good situation, it can bring you down. So I say flip all those beliefs. If it's not good, if it's not expanding you, flip it into the positive. So I will have to say, I know that I have been very negative to me because I wasn't raised in a family that communicated. And I was the youngest out of eight. And I believe my mom was truly exhausted. I have 4 children, and I started later in life having children. I was like 30 when I had my first child. Um, but it's draining emotionally to have children. A lot of energy, and that's in a time generation that I had children, and not in a generation that my parents had children. Like my father had like 3 jobs, full time job and then 2 part-time jobs, and my mom stayed home until I went into kindergarten. Um, so I was really raised in an environment of limitations. I remember my parents actually rented the house that we lived in the whole time. Um, both my parents are gone, but I think they lived there for like 40 some years. It was a long time. I mean, my whole time that I was born, and you know, granted, I left when I was 18, but um, yeah, I lived there my whole life, and I know there's a lot of people that, they're like moving around all the time, and I had that stability. Um, but I do remember a time that, and I just thought about this the other day. My parents were gonna buy a house, and they went to go sign the papers, but my mom didn't want to do it because she was scared, and so that stopped her. Um, she had fear behind that, and as the saying goes, fear is false emotions appearing real, and she created the feeling behind that. She didn't know any better to she didn't know differently. I mean, and I really feel there is no right or wrong. And I feel that my parents, how they raised me, was all meant for me to expand and, live life the way I have. And may not be pretty. I I I want to move forward, and I am a person that has a lot to say, but I'm not one that gets out there and says it. If you were, I mean, my kids are like, "Do you know that person?" When we go to the store, because they'll just random people just come up to me and start having a conversation, or I see someone that needs assistance and I know the answer, so I'm going to help them. I mean, that's just me. Um, I feel like I was shy as a child, and I don't know if that's not necessarily true, other than um, I felt left out. That's probably more what it was, because I didn't have um, my parents were there, but they didn't communicate with me, if that makes any sense. So So, talking about negative talk. So, to give you an example of negative talk, I was watching a video, and she was talking about, hearing from your spirit guides, and I don't feel like I really hear anything. I don't feel, but I sense things. So I was feeling kind of left out, and thinking, oh, I never hear anything or get anything important. And as soon as I clicked off that video, the song "What Is Love" popped into my head. So I'm like, what? I'm not looking for love. What's this song all about? So I listened to it, and I relate that back to what is love for me, and not to hurt me, because my talk ends up hurting me if I don't speak nicely to myself. And that's where our limitations come from. It comes from us, from within. Um, when you hear people say you create your own reality, you do, because you put meaning behind whatever it is. Things just happen, and you're the one that puts the meaning behind what happened. So if you can take a negative experience, and we're good, and I heard someone say you should not say negative. There's positive and not positive. Because words do have meaning, and I really feel that they have meaning. But it's the meaning that we put behind them. And if you can make a word sound better by using it differently, and like I've always said, it's not in what you say, it's in how you say it. So I guess that's what I really wanted to say, and I'm sorry this video is probably really awkward, but it is what it is, and I will get better as time goes on. And this is just proof to you that you can make that video. You can get out there and do anything. If yeah, I'm as you can see, I'm not a young person, so if I can get out there, I'm not used to this. Anyone can get out there and do this. Yeah. So I appreciate you listening to me. If there's anything that you would like me to speak on, because I have been through a lot, um, and I've always been told that I see things from a different perspective than others. Um, and I should have been in the CIA, because I'm like a little detective. Because I like to see things from all angles, not just one-sided. And yeah, that's what I have to say. So thank you.